Corporate governance is a little dry topic. I was just thinking, as to how I can try to make it a little interesting to you. Maybe we will just drive through some key points, take-home points through this. You all know, I think you have been listening from the morning, that the technology has been completely driving the whole conference. It's actually the gap. The corporate governance, what you are talking about, is the gap between the conventional way of management and the modern management. If you want me to put it in a very, very, maybe a layman language, that's how we can look at it. Are we ready, first of all, are we getting ready, first of all, to change our management style into a corporate governance? Corporate governance, maybe the word might be looking very fancy. It's not that. What we are doing currently is what we are, in fact, this is a transition period, we can say. We change it. Okay. And anyway, just before moving on, I just wanted to, this is a group which I represent, KIMS Healthcare Group. It's called actually Kerala Institute of Medical Sciences. In fact, we just got about 6 facilities in India, predominantly in Kerala. The headquarters in Trivandrum, and we have about 5 facilities in Kerala itself and 1 in Hyderabad. This is in Middle East. These are about 5-6 facilities in Middle East. I'm fortunate to work with this group for the last couple of months. In fact, just moved out of Coimbatore about 7-8 months back and took charge as a group COO, and going on. Okay, there are mixed audience, and I believe there are some students also sitting here, maybe young budding hospital administrators sitting here. And as I told you, when we talk about corporate governance, the style of management which we used to follow in the previous days, and the kind of the management which we are adopting or trying to adopt, there is I would say there is a gap between the lip and cup. How are we going to bridge the gap is where our skills are lying. Whether the accountability was there, whether the quality conscious was there. There are so many other things. I think I don't have to read the whole sentence. I think all of you can read well. And it's an improvement there are 3 areas where we are mainly focusing on the corporate governance. Of course, when you talk about hospital, clinical comes first. Definitely. Clinical, without clinical, you cannot do it. Financial is another thing which is a part of a corporate performance. And of course, the corporate in general, that is operations, what we say. So clinical, operations, and financial. These are the 3 areas where the corporate governance is given a lot of stress on. What do you mean by corporate governance? Is the balance between economical and social goals. What are your social goals and what are your economical goals? And in fact, how are we trying to balance between both? Balance between individual and communal goals. Community needs something. In fact, we all know that we are in the healthcare industry, we are having a hospital for the community. If the community goals are different and your goals are different, there is a mismatch there. There is a clear mismatch there. So in that case, are we matching with the communal goals also? To encourage efficient use of resources. And in fact, we talk so much about effective utilization of resources, effective utilization of manpower, effective utilization of all the facilities in the hospital. That is the order of the day. We are actually trying various methods as to how we can effectively utilize the resources. You have a system to monitor the systems are used properly or not. That's what we talk again in corporate governance. And align the nearly as possible as the interests of individuals and corporate society. This is what I said in the beginning, and probably one of time I might be rushing through a couple of slides. You can stop me and ask in case if there is anything. And so this is what I said: management, efficient usage of the resource to achieve goals, clinical, corporate. Okay, you are talking about, see, I just always try to relate it with some examples, just by giving a text lecture will not be entering into our mind. So what do you mean by clinical? I just want to take a couple of examples for on the clinical side. We said there are 3 parameters which are there in the the corporate governance. In the clinical side, what do you mean by clinical side corporate governance? You can look at it, the chronic care management. One example I'm just saying, today, the kind of, hype which is going towards managing the chronic diseases. The kind of, you all have got internet access, and the kind of, the chronic diseases effects. And this is becoming one important market for most of the healthcare industry. How can that chronic care management can be linked into technology, what Mr. Vike was talking in the beginning, and how that can be utilized? For example, there are so many models which are coming in. Like for example, even Apollo, if for an example you take Apollo Sugar, has come up as a separate brand altogether. And if you look at the whole management of the diabetic care, which came first actually, from that, in fact, they took the model and Apollo Sugar came in. And there are so many other models which are coming up now. If you look at the whole thing, it is completely the technology driven, in fact, the business model, I would say. And they've got many things. I'm not going to explain everything, that as soon as a patient is coming in, or even if he's not, the thing is that though you are ready to give the service in their doorstep, they don't even have to come to your hospital. They can just sit at home and manage everything. And sitting in your place, or you may be, there are elder parents sitting here in India, your son is in America. His mobile number is actually entered in here. He can virtually watch what is his parents' weight today, what is his sugar today, what is his BP today. Everything can be monitored from sitting in US or UK and wherever you are. And it's all, all these devices which has come in now, again it is coming to technology, is that, all these devices, your sugar checking machine or your BP checking machine, even the weighing scale, everything has come with a SIM card, which is as cheap as 50 rupees per SIM card. And as cheap as 2,500 rupees to 3,000 rupees for a sugar checking. As cheap as about 1,500 to 2,000 rupees for a BP. And this was not there in the previous style of management. This is where the gap. The society is getting ready for it. I just, maybe when you're getting into a technology area, there are so many other things which is coming in. I will take a live example of the current happening. If we are not ready to embrace the technology, do you think demonetization would have been possible in India? It would not have been possible. And we are all, of course, we underwent a lot of, practical issues, but still, we are with it, we are living with it. Demonetization, we are living with it. Okay, I'm in Chennai. I'll take another example of the recent Jallikattu issue. Jallikattu would not have become so famous, so popular without the help of social media. And when there was a jammer kept in, and the keys could break the password, and they could get immediately, I was told that even a temporary tower was erected immediately by Geo. Reliance Geo was erected and it went into violence. And it caught up in, there was, the second day itself, there was a protest happening in Dubai, there was a protest happening in Germany, there was a protest happening in America. But you know, Jallikattu was only 1% of the whole thing. But I'm just only saying, it's a live example what we have seen just a couple of days before, and we are even seeing it today. So technology, in fact, you know, corporate governance is nothing but, you know, are we ready to embrace the technology? Once you are ready, most of your jobs are done. Because that is the ultimate thing. Next, when you come to financial governance, I think briefly touched upon by again Mr. Anantapatnabhan. When we want to start a hospital, what we used to do? Either my father should have had some money, or he must have earned something, or my grandparents should have had some money. We always depended on the funds with internal accruals. But now, things are changing. Private equities. Today, whatever the kind of growth what you are seeing in healthcare, private equities and banks have played a major role. And just few latest examples you can see, the kind of money which is flowing into the Indian healthcare market. Look at it, you know. The TPG growth has taken over the motherhood. It's again a Kerala-based, I think, Momuti's doctor or son-in-law or something. And it's owned by him, 220 crores. The kind of fund which is available in healthcare market. Tamasak, I know 17.74% percentage stake in Medanta, Delhi. Sanofi, Apollo Sugar, which I was saying, 90 crore, and CDC UK, Narayana Hridayalaya, at the rate of 48 million. But these are some of the funds which are coming in. We are getting ready. The Indian healthcare is getting ready. This was not there before. This is again a part of corporate governance. We are getting into that. We are there. Almost we are there. Management models, again in the corporate governance part, M&As. I think 74% stake by Parkway Singapore in Global Hospital Group. I think it is right in Chennai here. Care Hospital, 72% stake by Abrash for 2,000 crore. Largest foreign direct investment in the country. 2,000 crore, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a small amount. I know if the olden days, if you are not interested in adopting the technology, if you are not interested in getting into the new versions of management and corporate governance, these things are not at all possible. Not at all possible, because we are not a that rich company to get in so much of money into the market. We earn what? What is the percentage of profit you might be having in a hospital, and there has to be 5 to 6 generations to work in a 5,000 bed hospital to earn this kind of a money. So healthcare is attractive. Healthcare is attracting investments. So mergers, M&As are the order of the day. In fact, there are a lot of non-performing assets which are just lying there. If just for the ego of a people, just for the local pride, still there are people running the hospitals in remote parts of these countries. No, I have been a doctor. 3-4 generations I have run the hospital. How can I give this hospital to somebody else? Please don't attach your egos and emotions in managing the hospital. If you have an ego and emotions attached, the professional management cannot be brought in. It is totally different. If you are talking about corporate governance, please keep your egos and emotions separate. And I always try to quote this. The quote used to be told to me by my HOD of when I was studying in Kamraj University. GP Rao. Always emotional detachment and professional attachment. When you are in business, keep your emotions separate. Detach your emotions. It is, and if everybody comes up, okay, leave it, I'm not able to manage it, let me give it to somebody else who can manage it. That is a better way of doing things. There are so many hospitals, to my knowledge. I have traveled across the country, even the remote pockets of the country. I've seen so many non-performing hospitals just lying there, and 10 floors would have been just kept locked. You will be just running only 2 floors. And this father would have had a roaring practice. Son never became a doctor. He would have been a businessman. He might have studied in Harvard. But he comes back and looks at it in a different angle, which is not aligning to the father's vision. That's where the break comes. That is exactly what I'm talking about, the difference between corporate governance and your traditional way of management. So you can see that, the kind of investment which is coming in management models is actually, when you talk about management models, nothing wrong in it. See, you were saying, why a private equity is coming and he is asking for a good, strong IT systems. Because they believe in managing by system. We believe in managing by person. That is exactly what is the difference. When there is a system, you can manage hundreds and hundreds of chains. There is no problem. As a human being, we have limitations in time, in energy, in capacity, everything. But how many centers you can see by your own eyes? They don't trust. Especially the promoter, if he is sitting there, it is very, very difficult. He will get into every nitty-gritty of it. And he will get into micromanagement. That's what we are saying now. Today, leave alone the micromanagement. Get into the strategic level. Let the young generations like you are sitting here manage the hospital. They will commit mistakes. They will do mistakes. They will commit mistakes. Allow it. You just go back and think, in your earlier days, now you are at 40 years of experience and saying, no, what he did was wrong. I just go back and see, in the initial years of 1 year and 2 years, did you not commit mistakes? Did you not take a wrong decision? That is where is the gap. So, allow them to manage it. They have plenty and plenty of tons and tons of ideas in their mind. Allow them to perform. They will excel. They will take your brands to a greater level. So, in the management also, there is a gap. We are trying to bridge it. Another way of today, IPO was considered only as an important thing for big corporate houses like Reliance and so many things. They used to talk only about. Today, IPO has become a real thing for healthcare. In fact, these are some of the healthcare-related successful IPOs which I have mentioned it here. SCG has done it successfully. Apollo was the first corporate hospital in the country to go. In fact, I not put Kobe Medical Center where we worked. That was I would say, second hospital probably those days. I think in 90s, they were 87 or something. It was listed. We did not even know what is IPO, what is share market. But that was a stage. And Narayana Hridayalaya, Thyrocare very recently did an IPO very successfully. The subscriptions were phenomenal, I would say. That shows people are looking at healthcare as an option for investing. We should not, just because we are sitting in healthcare, we should not think that people are not looking at it. I'm just working in a hospital. No. As Gyani sir was saying, this healthcare is now the second largest, the industry in giving employments for people. So healthcare is big, ladies and gentlemen. I think we should be really proud. Whether you are proud or not, I'm personally very, very proud that I'm associated with the healthcare industry for the last 24, 25 years now. This is exactly what we were saying. This is where we get stuck. Underperforming, okay, if I get into this kind of thing, between the clinical and corporate, the linkage between the clinical and corporate is not understood and not communicated or not respected in the organization. See, all of us should understand whatever three things what we discussed is, there has to be a proper linkage between all the three. Please remember that we are serving for single customer. Though we talk about three different areas, we are serving for single customer. And that has to be really looked into it properly. And unless there is no synchronization, there is no coordination among our own self, it is very difficult. And ultimately, you deliver a different product to him, different service to him. On the technology side, I think already on the IT side, he discussed about it and so many things. And ultimately, what the kind of a comprehensive solution, what we are going to give, whatever you before that is equal to, you do whatever combinations, but ultimately it has to be a comprehensive service which the customer has to get in. Mobile patient care, electronic health records. I wanted to mention this point here, and I think one of the friends from Thrissur asked a question to Mr. Anandabhatnavan. I would like to really proudly say that we have, after so much of struggle, successfully implemented the IP EMR about 6 months back. In fact, today, KIMS Trivandrum specifically is completely working on EMR. And as he said, that is an important point, that what is the kind of the dedication what your top level management has for this EMR is very, very important. Because you have to invest first of all on technology, because the entire hospital is Wi-Fi enabled, otherwise it is very difficult to do it. And there are at least about, you are saying that computers on wheels. You can see if you walk into the hospital, there are about 140 laptops which are running around here and there. In the entire 11 floors, 140 laptops are kept in on wheels, and it is being used. In fact, we had a huge resistance. It was a difficult task. It is not an easy thing, especially with the senior doctors who are not willing to adopt the technology. It is very, very difficult. Unless otherwise, your top management is really committed in implementing EMR. It is a tough task, but with so much of commitment from the chairman, Dr. M.A. Sangullah, it was very much possible, and we could do it, and it is successfully running. It is a huge benefit, I would say. In the patient need not, only things which we are still not doing down in it. In fact, we are looking at is that the UHID part, the unique hospital ID number, where the patient goes to anywhere else, other locations, even if suppose he is registered in Trivandrum, whether he can take a treatment at Kochi, where in our branch, whether he can take it in Peradalmanna, where our branch is there. But that is one thing which we have not interlinked right now. But if that could be done, that is the ultimate thing. If that can be shared, and wherever, as he said, even if he goes to some other hospital with some kind of a privilege, we can access the data even in some other place, even if you are in US or UK, wherever you are, it can be accessed. Only thing is, probably the cloud computing is a solution what we are looking at. Probably we have just put the roadmap for that. So the electronic medical records is another important thing, where actually the traditional way of, because there is no space. People sitting here will understand that. Medical records, just imagine a hospital working in for 25 years in a healthcare industry, you need a 10,000 square feet only to store the records. Where is the space available today? What is the cost of each square feet in managing the project? We look at all those things. That's where we come, the efficiency of management. This is what exactly what we are looking at: bureaucratic, hierarchical, and when in the new way, delegation of authority. Less amenable for changes. Change management is the order of the day. Management at hands of the very few senior people, but here everybody is empowered to do their own job and less likely to empower staff because they don't trust, they don't believe. No, he will take away my hospital. No, it's not like that. When you have systems, nobody can touch. As it said, he said the mistakes will happen. They will commit mistakes, but they will correct it. You give them a choice, no? So you have to empower them. I think I'll rush through. This is what is the traditional way of management. Why are you not working? Oh, I didn't see you. You're coming this side. So are you working for the hospital or you're working for the chairman? This is what happens. When he comes that side, we pretend that we are working. No. So, clear, defined vision and mission. I'm anyway rushing through because for short of time. A tip card. Just remember this. This is exactly what the whole corporate governance means. A tip card is actually the first letter of all these important words like accountability, transparency, integrity, protection, compliance, availability, retention, and disposition. I'm not going to go through each and everything separately. In fact, there is a detail which is been there. When you talk about accountability, this is what? The chairman is sitting and he's asking his secretary to send somebody because he wants to blame. Because we want to blame somebody. We don't want to take responsibility. We don't want to take the decision. We don't want to hold any responsibility. We just want to blame. Why did this happen? I don't know. He has done it. Why did this happen? I don't know. He has done it. We want to blame. No. This system empowers everyone. When you are really into a corporate governance, you are empowered. Right from a housekeeping guy to a consultant, everybody is empowered to do their job. I'm actually skipping it, accountability, and I already said that. Transparency also, I think my secretary has put in everything. And integrity, treat others the way you want to be treated. We want ourselves to be treated very well. When I go, everybody should say, good morning, sir, good morning, sir, good morning, sir, good afternoon, sir. But have you ever replied good morning to somebody? When you enter into a hospital, your security says, good morning, sir. Have you ever stood 1 second there and say, good morning, how are you? No, we don't do that. Just walk with a stiff. Just try to pose that I'm a big guy. No, don't do that. Those days have changed completely. Stop there and say good morning to him. Because we expect everybody to treat us well. Protection and compliance. Today, I think Mr. Dr. Gyani will accept on this. Compliance has become order of the day. Earlier, we used to just run a hospital, that's all. Whether you had a fire license, whether you had a building license, whether you had a drug license, nobody even cared about it. Can you run a hospital today without a proper compliance? No. That is not at all possible nowadays. But only thing is, government also has to wake up. In many places, still, we are in Shops and Establishment Act. And shops are considered equal to the hospital. Availability. That's where all the IT comes, availability of hospital information system, electronic medical system, HR protocols and everything. Retention is an important one. If you have all these factors, the employee will stay with you. Are you paid well? Is the first question. Are you mentored properly? Is the second thing. Are you challenged? Some people may not like challenge, but if you don't have a challenge, there is no fun into it. Are you promoted every time for doing a good job? Are you involved in the hospital? That's another thing. Appreciated, valued, mission, empowered, trusted. That is the last factor. Are you being trusted in the company? Are you being trusted for the job what you are having? Trust is an important factor for any employee, be it not only in hospital, anywhere for that matter. Disposition, I think I'm just I know when you have a corporate governance, this is an important factor which will come in, board of directors and committees. This is in fact, when you go into NABH, and definitely they ask for all committees. So this is an important thing. Licenses, framework of licenses is statutory, which I said just before. These are all some of the examples of, you have seen the accidents, AMRI hospital in Kolkata and the SMU hospital in Bhubaneswar. How many lives we lost, we know. That's where the compliance becomes very, very important. And is there a hierarchy? In our older management, there is only chairman. He takes the decision which chair to be put in where, and also he takes care of the decision which cardiologist to be appointed. So from every decision, he is the one who makes it. I think most of you must have experienced this kind of thing in the current healthcare scenario, because till today we are into the traditional way of management still, and there are some young generations trying to cope up with the technology and trying to change the system. In spite of that, there is a huge, so much of resistance. No, I cannot do this. I used to run only like this. What are you talking about? I don't want to read this, but just liked it, I thought I would put it. When the top level guys look down, they see only dash. When the bottom level guys looks up, they see only dash. But having the hierarchy is important. Though it's a joke, you need to have a hierarchy. But this is a practical thing what we are seeing in the corporate. Monitoring and control becomes easy when you're adopting the corporate governance policies and procedures. And in a nutshell, just remember this slide. If it is, I think I'm just coming to the close. Kind of a three-circle of the way in corporate governance. The outer circle is an end product, what you are supposed to do, but the inner circle is the most important thing if you have to really implement corporate governance very, very successful way into the hospital. You have to have a mission, you have to have a vision, you have to have a smart goals and objectives. Where do you want to go? Most of us drive in a dark. We don't know where we want to go, but we are driving. But do you have a short-term goal? Do you have a long-term goal? What do you want to achieve after 5 years? What do you want to achieve in 10 years' time? What do you want to achieve in 25 years' time? Because healthcare is not we are not looking at a kind of a one-day job. It's a long-term job. So where do you want to go is an important thing. So objectives drive you very clearly towards the destination where you want to reach. Futuristic approach. Anyway, I've just said all those things. Effective governance is not a one-off event, but rather a continuous process of vigilance. Just to summarize, in the whole thing of corporate governance, what we are looking at is that, first of all, if you want to really get into the corporate governance, the important thing is that mindset has to be changed. Are you prepared? Are you ready to change your mind to get into the newer style of management? That's what we call it as a corporate governance. Unless you have the mindset change, it is a tough call. It is very, very difficult. You cannot do anything. Cost and charges has become the very, very important thing today. We look at everything. Cost per bed, cost per square feet. Even when you talk about housekeeping, we talk about what is the square feet charges for even cleaning. We have come to that level of looking at the cost. Charges, you cannot just do whatever you want. It has to be comparable to the market where you are performing, where you are working. That's very important. You cannot charge, and insurance is coming up in a big way. You cannot charge whatever you want. He will tell you what package in which he wants to enroll your hospital. So charges is not your decision. It is a market decision. So that is another important factor. light asset. Today, the model is that. Though days are gone, that's why you see acquisitions, merger and acquisitions, and everything is coming only because they don't want to waste time. They don't have time to waste. If you want to start a 5,000 bed facility in India, in different places, you have to work for minimum 10 to 15 years. That's why people are looking at. When Fortis came, took over Wakat, when now I showed you the subjects. The Parkway came, took over Global. Next day the Global is available, or maybe the Parkway is available. In one deal, he has got a 5,000 beds added. He has got a 10,000 bed added. And over and above, as I said, like the light asset model, we are looking at brownfield, greenfield, so many things. Brownfield is something, you have a building ready. As I said, there are so many non-performing hospitals out there. You just go, say that, okay, I'll run the hospital effectively, I'll take care for marketing, I will give you the business, you take this much of percentage. Ladies and gentlemen, you know that in any healthcare project, 40 to 50, 60% is your real estate cost. And your land and building takes away the major chunk of your money. When it is already available, when it is readily available, why don't you take it up? You don't have to invest. Share a percentage with him. But still your facility is available there. It's coming up. So light asset model is something which is catching up. And corporate way for HR, you cannot manage the HR in the way you used to do it. But the companies, everything has changed. The mindset has changed. People's way and the looking at things is changed. This is also looked at as a corporate. No more a service, it's a kind of a charity thing, which we used to look at. Technology and innovations, we talked so much about it. Strategy, changes, IT. If you have to do all these things, unless you have a corporate mind, it is very, very difficult to accept it. So ladies and gentlemen, it is a very, very important thing, and thank you so much for giving an opportunity today, and it's a great, I'm feeling really great to be among the stalwarts of healthcare. Thank you so much.
To be part of the ARC MedeTalks 2017.